All right, guys, welcome into another workshop, first one in a few weeks. Today is February 2nd, 2026, and today I'm going to be kind of doing a rough recap of my trip to the NAMM Show a couple weeks ago. This is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff version, and then next month for monthly check-in, I'm going to do a version where it's kind of more streamlined and a little bit more in detail, and I might include some photos in that. But this is gonna kind of just gonna be my instant reaction, like fresh off the trip. Like I said, I was there a couple weeks ago. And for those that don't know, the NAMM Show takes place every year in Anaheim, California. Usually always in January. They had it one year, I think in 2021. Because of COVID, it was in the spring, and I remember thinking, wow, that would be awesome if they just move it to the spring so I could travel from Ohio to California and not deal with the weather for the winter. But unfortunately, that did not stick, and they have since moved it back to January, and I think it's just going to be that way. So I kind of bit the bullet this year, and I was like, I don't think they're going to move it back. Let me just go. So I bought my pass in the fall. Passes are $150 at the time of this recording, and I'm going to be honest, I think that's a really great price point for the value that you get out of just everything. I mean, you get access to the exhibitor show floor, so you can see all the tech companies and the different music companies and the different instrument companies that are, putting out their new stuff for 2026 or for whatever new year. I want to apologize. My sinuses are destroyed, so I might sound really bad on this video, but this winter weather is killing me. But essentially, you get access to the show floor. You also get access to a lot of the speakers, which I had the pleasure of seeing a couple different people. Two people that I am a huge fan of. One of those people was the producer Hit Boy, and he was actually speaking at the Hilton Hotel, which was kind of off to the side of the convention center, and the NAMM Show utilized that building, a couple floors of that building, for a lot of different speakers throughout the week. So on Thursday, I ended up going to see him speak for about an hour. That was pretty cool. And then another part of the convention center, I saw the producer Dahi, who I'm also a huge fan of. Those are two people right there. Probably wouldn't be producing without either one of those two's influence. So it was really cool. And that was a more intimate version. That was with a company called Mix with the Masters that basically brought in a lot of engineers and producers and kind of did workshops where they break down like a big song of theirs. So for Dahi, he broke down the intro for Kendrick Lamar's GNX album, which I thought was really cool. So he kind of showed everybody like the track stems and told us the story behind the song, told us his involvement in the song, and then did a Q&A. I asked him about his solo album and how that's different from obviously working with bigger artists like Kendrick or just any artist in general, which was really cool. So like, me from 2016 even, I would have been losing it. It's kind of crazy that I, in 10 years, have stuck with producing and have been able to do things like that where I'm like speaking to one of my favorite producers ever. Really cool stuff. So you get access to stuff like that, and then there's obviously other events, concerts going on out in the courtyard. Unfortunately, that doesn't get you free food. My brother and I learned that the hard way. We dropped like $30 a piece on lunch. They basically have like a food truck yard outside near the stage, and then they have some food courts inside. Food is pricey there, but it is California, so everything's pretty pricey. I didn't buy anything else though. I didn't buy any instruments. I didn't buy any merch. NAMM had a whole merch store that I thought was pretty cool, but I wasn't going to buy anything and I didn't want to buy anything. I was more there for the experience. But like I said, I think that 150, as long as that sticks, I thought the price point was very worth it. I thought I got a lot out of what I wanted to do, and I went for Thursday and Friday. I didn't even go for all the days. That 150 gets you in for the whole week. Not quite for the first 2 days. The first 2 days are technically Tuesday and Wednesday. And those are for exhibitors. Those are for the big companies and the big businesses that have meetings and panels and all kinds of stuff going on. It's open to the public, and the whole show floor is open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I did not stay for Saturday because I was trying to beat the winter storm getting home. So I ended up leaving on Saturday morning. But there was more going on Saturday. So here's kind of my initial reactions to the show. Going in on Thursday, I knew what to expect based on what I knew about the event, but I didn't know the amount of people. Like, Thursday was busy, Friday was absolutely slammed. I mean, it was like packing sardines in the show floor. And this convention center isn't the biggest I've ever seen, but it is big enough where there's multiple different rooms all connected into one giant center. And that goes for the upstairs and the main show floor. So it's kind of cool because they have it divided into sections. Like, you got your classical instruments over here, you got your rock instruments, you got your DJ decks, you got DAWs, like Pro Tools, like Avid was there. All the Pro Tools stuff is there. You have a lot of different live entertainment companies, like I mentioned, people that sell strobe lights or smoke machines, fog machines, things like that. Like, anything you could imagine that has to do with creating music or performing music, it was going on. Now, Thursday, there wasn't a lot of shows going on, but Friday, I noticed that at almost every booth, there was some type of performance going on, like whether it was a big artist or someone that was an affiliate of that company that they had come in and perform. I mean, there was performances going on all over the place. And on top of that, you have people trying to demo instruments. So like a lot of, let's say, the saxophone players, they would all hover around the saxophone area and just start demoing every piece of brass they could find. So it was like very weird because you had this guy performing some random song over here, and then you had somebody over here doing like a ballad on the piano, and then you had someone across the way singing, and it was just like, believe it or not though, as many things going on like that, it didn't really clash too much, which is kind of weird. I don't know how they managed to do that because everything's kind of butted up right next to each other. But I thought it was interesting. It wasn't like super overwhelming. I'd say the most overwhelming section is the drum section, because every drummer is just grabbing sticks and trying to demo every drum set. So I was like, this is a bit much. And I noticed that kind of about this event in general, a lot of musicians especially are just trying to like show off, or I don't know. I don't really know the mentality behind it, and I don't play instruments, so like obviously I'm not gonna pick up an instrument. But I almost view it like production too. Like, there's people over at the Pro Tools section like making beats and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't think you get anything out of that personally, because you're surrounded by other people just as talented as you or more talented than you. It's like we're all like the same in a way. We all do the same thing. So I don't know. I thought that part was the weirdest part of the event, where it's like musicians are just trying to show off for other musicians, which I've heard is a thing. Like I said, I wouldn't consider myself a part of the musician community because I don't play an instrument, but I could definitely see like NAMM being a big culprit of that happening, because there's just hundreds of people that play instruments or do whatever. Another thing I noticed is, because this is primarily a big networking event, there's brands there. There's the biggest audio brands you could think of: JBL, Yamaha, Avid, Shure microphones, a ton of people. I mean, you think about it, they're probably there at the show. So a lot of artists and a lot of different people are trying to network as well, and maybe get sponsored or whatever, you name it. Everybody's got their own goals and motives. And I guess because I'm not super, I believe in networking, of course. I believe in you have to do that to get, to that next level or that next stage, whatever you're trying to do. But just kind of what I observed was a bit, I don't want to say weird, but it was just a bit much for me, in my opinion. It was just a lot of people like just trying to network in the weirdest ways, and just kind of giving off weird energy to me. But again, this is just my opinion. This could be just me reading it wrong. And I noticed it a lot happening around me because I really wasn't, I was more of observing than doing anything. Like I said, I wasn't going around demoing anything or even talking to a lot of people. I was kind of just observing the area. Everywhere I went, hotel, convention center, it didn't matter. I was just kind of observing because this was my first trip. I really wanted to be an observer and kind of just take it all in and enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of people that just network in very weird ways and kind of approach people with a weird energy. And again, that could just be me, reading it wrong. But that's one thing I noticed. But other than that, I mean, if you're going to this event for just a great experience and to be surrounded by individuals that are like-minded and, hopefully connect with some people. I didn't connect with anybody personally. I mean, I didn't really, like I said, I wasn't throwing myself out there, which is probably my bad. And again, I might try to go back next year or maybe in the near future. So that's a big thing. But one thing I did want to do was eventually meet up with people that I knew. The problem was I didn't really contact anybody before this trip, but I ended up finding out a lot of people were there that I knew. Trying to meet up with them seems almost impossible because it's thousands of people. So it's like, that's another reason I was just observing, because I'm trying to see if there's anybody I know. Never saw anybody that I know personally. And it's crazy because I think this event will make you, if you ever go to this event will make you realize that you think you know a lot of people until you go to this event and you're like, I don't know anyone. Like, that's exactly how I felt, because I'm just like, don't know any of these people. Now, might I have come across their work online at some point? Absolutely. There's a great chance I've come across a lot of people on the internet, but I would never know that, unless I was talking to them every day or collaborating with them or something. I would never know that. So I'm sure there was plenty of people that I passed that I had talked to at one point, but I just don't remember them or interacted with their content online. But like I said, a few people that I know personally were there. Unfortunately, didn't get to link up with them because they were there at different times, or it just didn't work out where we just straight up didn't have time to meet up. But that's a goal for the future, is to meet up with more people that I know and just people in general. I would recommend, if you are going next year, what I would do is try to contact people in advance and ask like, hey, are you going to the NAMM show? And then try to plan like an actual time to meet up, because from what I can tell, it's very difficult to meet up, even with your friends or anybody. And I saw a lot of people doing it, but I would assume that they communicated more than I did. So that's my bad. I look to be doing that, hopefully, the next time I go out. Other than that, though, I mean, like I said, that $150 price point to me is an absolute steal. They could charge way more. I hope they never do, because, I love the 150. Like, the 150 is great. And if you're not buying anything like me, if you're just going for the experience and to check things out, I think it's totally worth it. I mean, hell, like I said, I paid almost as much in food costs as I did for the actual ticket for the event, which is the pass. They give you a pass basically when you get in there the first day, and then you just keep that pass every day. It's good for the whole week, which is awesome. And I should say that too, badge will call pickup was a very easy process, very streamlined, had no issues there. But I would recommend, I guess, kind of closing this thing out because I don't want to get too in depth. I'm going to save a lot of that for the video, the next video, of course. I would say just kind of plan ahead. Like if you want to go out next year, I would start researching like the dates for next year, which I believe they just announced. And I want to say it's going to be the 26th through the 30th of January, 2027. I believe that's the dates, but I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video for the website for the NAMM Show, so you guys can go check it out. And registration process is relatively easy. The problem I had was getting through the portal, and their website basically kept kicking me out. So what I had to do was contact customer support, and they had to help me actually purchase the badge and like get the confirmation, because you get a QR code that is going to be the QR code they scan at will call for the badge pickup. So as long as you get through that process, just save like the email, save all the things. I don't know if you can register already for next year, but they did release the dates. I know that for sure. So keep an eye out on the website for the registration. But once you get that done, like I said, $150, you can pay more, and there are add-ons too. Certain events at NAMM are add-ons where you have to pay more to be in that event. But for the most part, you get access to a lot of things for that $150, which I think is awesome. So if you're just going like I did to check out the show floor and hopefully meet some people or see some people, that's what I would do. Just stick with the $150 and go from there. And like I said, you can go to at least 3 days. Unless you're an exhibitor. If you're an exhibitor, you're going to be looking into a totally different thing here, but you're going to probably be going all 5 days, I would assume, in total. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, that is pretty much my experience. I really enjoyed myself still. I didn't get to meet a lot of people personally, but that's not really why I went this time. I wanted to kind of get a lay of the land, understand the event more, and just experience it as a fan of music and creatives and all that good stuff. So yeah, I definitely say that I'm glad I went, and I look forward to hopefully going back soon. Hopefully next year. I don't know if it's going to be in the budget for me next year, but if I can make it work, I would love to go back and hopefully go for 3 days as well, which would be really cool instead of just 2 days. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience. If you've been to the NAMM Show, let me know in the comments below what your experience was. And if you plan on going next year or anytime in the future, let me know as well. And if you want to know any other questions, feel free to ask those. And like I said, I'm going to put out another video on the monthly check-in, probably for the month of March, where I'm going to go a little more in depth, and I might put some of the photos up that I actually took at the event. I didn't take a ton of photos of that event. I was more so just experiencing everything, so I wasn't trying to hold my phone all over the place. But yeah, I'll do that as well and kind of make it a little bit more formatted. But this was my off-the-top review of NAMM. If I had to rate it out of 5 stars, I'd say it's a 4.5. Honestly, I mean, it is a crowded, especially if you go Friday. I assume Saturday is probably the same way. It's very crowded. I'm not a big fan of large crowds, so that would probably be the only reason I'd say it's not like a 5 out of 5 for me. But for what you get, the value, all that good stuff, I think it's great. And I think NAMM is doing great things as an organization. And you're able to donate. You're able to become, a donor as well. So you can donate to schools for their band programs and their music programs, and that's really what NAMM is all about in general. So I think they're doing great things. I think the show is really awesome event, and like I said, look forward to going back soon. So this is all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And another workshop, I don't have my laptop up here because I just really wanted to go off the top of my head on this one. But there should be another workshop coming in about a couple weeks. Don't know what that's going to be, but stay tuned for that. And as always, stay safe, stay positive out there, stay warm out there, wherever you are. I'm in a winter hellhole right now. Totally side story, but stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you guys next time.